Hello and welcome back to the second in a two-part series covering the AccuraOnline version 6 features. In the first video what we did was we covered configuring a website as a B2C portal. And in this video what we're going to do is show you the user experience and the integration with the Accura MIS, because that's really what it's all about from your point of view, is getting that flow of information coming through without too much manual intervention. So looking at the site we have now, we took this site from a B2B portal to a B2C portal. So we've added things like these product tiles down here, which take us to the relevant sections of the store. We added these featured product tiles which take us straight to those product pages as well, and we also configured our menu to show us the store with some filtered list options as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to simulate being a guest user of your site. I don't have an account. I want to browse, I want to shop, I want to add to basket, and then when I check out I'll be prompted to pay and to register for an account. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight in at the store, and the store is going to show us all the products we have available. Now bear in mind these are going to be generic products, they're not going to be owned by any one client, they're going to be generic business cards, brochures, leaflets, flyers, mailers, etc. Now I'm going to be working with this one in the middle here, which is this business card, and this happens to be an editable print-on-demand template. So I've got some sample pricing and so forth. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm going to get my price. So I want a price for 500, and I'm going to click calculate, and this is a live calc product, so this is going to go back to Accura's template library and it's going to calculate this quote out, giving me my specific price. So now that's completed, I've got a price of £105 for 500 items. I can add to basket from here, or I could click recalculate, which will reset my price and prompt me again for a different quantity. So I'm going to add to basket, and that has now appeared in my basket up the top here. I can of course view and edit my basket or check out, so let's check out. Okay, so this kicks off the checkout wizard, and the first step is account verification. Now what we mean by that is the user enters their email address and we determine whether they already have an account or not. Sometimes people visit so many websites they forget where they've created an account and where they haven't, so we're going to do that verification for them. So let's put in an email address. So John Wilson at company.com, and so it's going to verify whether they have an account. It's done that and it said, well, you don't, so we now need some more details from you. So I'm going to put in the first name and the last name. The email address has been populated. I just need to verify that that is the correct email address, because obviously all of the communication is going to be via email, and we need to ensure that it is a valid email. So we choose our password and we click next. So what's going to be happening here is the account is going to be automatically created. So the previous workflow with B2B was that you made a registration request, that was approved by the web console user, and then the account was created and the user had to go and activate their account. So all of that has been sidestepped and it's all in one process now. This is the summary of my order. The project title can be whatever we want it to be. I am going to put in an order number, and I'm going to say we want this order delivered by the 25th. Now this area down here, attachments, is where the user could upload files to accompany his order. They can be anything. It could be a spreadsheet with a list of names if we want business cards for multiple people. It could be some image or layout, anything that they want to communicate to us. So I'm going to move through to my billing address now. And of course at the moment we have no addresses, so I'm going to add an address. And we've integrated with Google Mapping so that we have predictive address search. So all I have to do is start typing and it will narrow that down to a bunch of addresses that match what I've typed, and I can then just choose from the list to populate that entire address. Now we may or may not have a company name, so we could just be John Wilson ordering for himself, so we don't need to populate the company name. So let's just add that address and we move on to our delivery address. Now the options here are use this same address as the billing details or create a new address. So let's create a new address, and so we want this delivered somewhere else, so let's say 30 The Crescent, Eastleigh, and again we have the option of putting in a company name and phone number and email. Now the phone number and email are quite important if you want to use couriers, because a lot of couriers these days are asking for that information in case of a problem. We can also put in a different contact name, so let's say this contact is Trevor Wilson and his email address is trevor.w@company.com. So let's add that delivery address, and we're now going to go through to the payment stage. Now before we go to payment, because this is an eDoc template, we need to modify the artwork. So this red icon indicates that we need to load the editor and make our changes to the artwork. So let's do that now. Okay, so this is a little bit of eDoc. You may or may not be familiar with this. This is where you can get your customers to modify and create their own print-ready artwork, so everything just flows through straight to you and you don't have to do anything. So let's start to populate this information. Now you can of course get much of this information to pre-populate automatically depending on how you've configured your template. So pretty much everything could be populated here automatically if we chose to do it that way. So let's do okay, so let's have a look at the preview there. Okay, that's looking good, so we're going to click Finish Editing, and that returns us to the shopping basket to complete our order. Okay, I'm going to give this a description of John's business cards, and we're going to choose a delivery option. Okay, now in this case it's gone over the threshold of £100, so delivery is free, so that's a good thing. I'm going to tick the box that I've read the terms and conditions, and then I'm going to pay. Now although it says pay with PayPal, don't get confused, your customers do not need a PayPal account. They can simply pay with a credit or debit card and not create an account whatsoever. I'm actually going to log into an account. This is a fictitious account. Okay, so whilst we're in the PayPal checkout, it's just worth mentioning that a lot of people do like using PayPal because it enables them to store all their payment cards in one place, and they don't need to enter card information into a website that they're not really that familiar with. So it does give them that extra level of security as well as the PayPal buyer protection. So let's pay this now. That's now gone through, and return to merchant. Okay, so we can now continue shopping. Now already John has an account, so he's now got an account and he's logged in, and he can do everything that a normal account user can do. So now let's take a look at this from the Accura end of things. What are you going to see? From the Accura end, let's see how that information flows into the database and how much work we actually have to do. So I'm going to load up my web console, which is running down here in my system tray, and you can see that John's order has already appeared. These icons are worth noting. The shopping trolley indicates it's a product order. The paperclip indicates there are attachments, which is going to be our eDoc artwork. We can see those attachments here on this tab here, and the star indicates that John is a new customer. He doesn't have an account with us. So all we're going to do is process this order, and in doing so a number of things are going to happen in the background. First of all, this is a product that's linked to a template quote, so a quote will be generated, and that quote is important because it gives us all of the production information, the times, the materials, the outwork, and so on. So we have a full production ready job ticket with a linked quote attached to it. With that, we are going to have all of our workings, labor, materials, and outwork, all of our sections. We're also going to see our attachment, and you'll notice that John's account has been created. It's been given a unique client code. The contact has been created. If we go to the delivery tab, also Trevor's contact record and office location has been created with the delivery address, the email, and the phone number that he typed on the website. So all of that data has now already been created in Accura. All I need to do is click OK and my job is created. Now momentarily you'll see the files download, which would be the eDoc attachment, and that will be copied into the various hot folders that you've configured in your web console. So even the downloading of the file is taken care of for you. Now because he's a prepaid customer, we need to generate a paid invoice, so this is done for us automatically. Click OK and that invoice is done, and your web user, John in this case, will receive a notification telling him that the invoice is available within his portal. So let's just shut down this invoice, and in my case I'm not going to print the job tickets right now. So his order has now disappeared from the queue, and that order is now in the system just like any other. So let's just minimize web console for a minute and just take a look at some of the data that's been created here for us. So here we can see John's account. It's a web enabled account automatically. It has a dollar icon indicating it's a prepay account. And we also have two contacts that have been created, John himself and Trevor, who is our dispatch contact, and he has been linked to the 30 The Crescent office location. So all of this has been done for you. He has been flagged as the primary contact, and Trevor has been flagged as the dispatch contact. And if we come to our offices, you'll see the two offices, the primary office, which is the billing office, and the dispatch office for deliveries. So we haven't had to muck around with emails, with attachments, with importing CSV files or XML. We haven't had to deal with any APIs or programming. All of this is seamless and fully automated and standard in the system. So following on from that, now that John has an account, he can log in just like anyone else and see all of his orders, quotes, and so forth. So I'm going to log in as John now. And once it loads up my portal, I can see I now have my full suite of menus for proofs, orders, the store, etc., etc. So if I go to orders, what I should see is the order I've just raised for John. So he can see that order, and he can see when it was placed, when the dispatch date is likely to be, and so on. He can also view any proofs on that order that we may raise for him, deliveries, and invoices. So we already have the invoice, so he can open that invoice. So he can check that invoice and get a copy for his own records. So this reflects the payment he made in the PayPal checkout wizard. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a good feel for how the information flows back and forward between Accura and AccuraOnline in a B2C environment. I hope you agree. This is extremely automated. As far as we're aware, there's absolutely nothing out there on the market that does anything like this, and it really does mean that you're entering a world where you need to reduce the number of touches on these web orders, because if you don't, you're going to start to lose money just in admin costs and so on. So this automation is really key to you making a financial success of your exploration into internet trading. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.